Join us on the program, Rick Ector from Rick's Firearms Academy of Detroit. Rick, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Mr. Cam. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I said earlier that we are, awfully close to giving you your own weekly segment. The
I think we could work that out.
ACD, Armed Citizen Detroit, right? This is incredible. I mean, almost every week now we're seeing these stories. The latest, Detroit police searching for an intruder who was shot during a break-in on the city's west side. It happened early Monday morning. Homeowner discovered the intruder in his home, shot him in the stomach, and then the intruder ran away. Homeowner was okay, though, right?
Yeah, in this particular situation, the homeowner was fine. And you know what? It's really interesting that you brought up this story, man, because actually 1 week ago, last Wednesday, there was also another armed citizen story. I mean, a lot of times we get bogged down with hearing about the violent crime that happens against unarmed citizens. But, man, it's like we're seeing a lot more armed, law-abiding citizens, defensive gun use stories coming out in the media. Just Wednesday, there was a Coney Island that got robbed. Two guys came in and pointed a gun at the owner behind the cashier station, shot him right away, and then shot a CPO holder that he didn't know was armed. Luckily for the CPO holder, he was carrying, and he returned fire, and that one bad guy happened to not make it, and the other guy took off. So, I mean, we got two excellent examples of two law-abiding citizens using firearms to defend themselves, man, and I like to see the momentum to keep growing.
Well, absolutely right. We talked about that Coney Island story. I didn't realize, by the way, Rick, that in New York, every hot dog stand is called something Coney Island. So I thought this was actually one of the famous Coney Islands that had been on all of the Food Network shows. It was not. That's okay.
Not a problem. It's just we call all those style restaurants here in the Metro Detroit area Coney Islands. I don't know why, but that's what we do.
Well, you know what? Whatever. You guys are also concealed carrying and exercising your right to carry and exercising your right to self-defense. I got to ask, I mean, with all of these armed citizen stories now on a regular basis in Detroit, what is, I'm not seeing any backlash, Rick. I've not seen anybody say, oh, we've got way too many concealed carry holders here. We got way too many criminals who are being shot.
Believe it or not, there's no sane argument that could be made against, a predator, an armed robber, a jacker, or a rapist, or a home invader getting shot. I mean, there's no argument there.
So are you seeing more people give you, I ask you this every time, you seeing people give you a call, or is business steady? Is business up?
It's fairly steady, man, but when we get these actual documented cases, and, I really think there are more stories out there where they just don't all make it to print, man. And when we do get regular, frequently occurring reports that come in through the media that, yes, a legally armed citizen actually uses firearm, whether at home or out on the street, actually defended himself, there's a noticeable uptick in interest because folks are like, hey, you know what, this thing, maybe there is something to carrying this gun. Maybe I can defend myself. And it's been a very positive influence on what I'm seeing. But more than that, man, it's like, last year we were the defensive, justified homicide capital of the U.S., and unless we can get these other crime stats to go down, man, we look like we might be repeating this year.
I would say that you're likely right, and we've talked about this before. I hate the fact that crime in Detroit is as bad as it is. I hate the fact that a great American city is facing as many challenges as it is. But I am glad that people in Detroit, unlike people in Chicago, unlike people in Washington D.C., unlike people in Camden, New Jersey, and other high crime cities, I'm glad that people in Detroit can actually exercise their right to carry. And, we've seen enough of these stories, Rick, that it really does help save lives. It's saved the lives of a lot of Detroit residents over the years.
It's unmistakable, man. And one of the great things that comes out of this is every time a citizen defends himself against one of these predators, there are people out there that are being protected because I believe these guys are going to think second before they try to actually victimize somebody. Is this person actually armed, and am I actually going to suffer the ultimate price for trying to victimize them? So yeah, it's doing everything that we said that it was going to do when we went to right to carry about 11 years ago.
So, Rick, I guess at some point are obviously not every criminal is going to think about this when they go burgle a home. They're not going to. I wish that they would, but not all of them are. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your actions. The burglar's responsible for their actions, and it's up to you to make sure that you're safe, right?
Yeah, and I get it, and you get it, but there's still some people that haven't really wrapped their minds around the fact that they're responsible for their safety. There's this perception that the police and the government is responsible for saving us. And the police know this, but they don't actually come out and make the admission that, you're responsible for your safety. You'll see a car and it's got protect and serve on it. A lot of people actually buy off into it when it's actually not legally valid.
Talking with Rick Ector from Rick's Firearm Academy. And Rick, we just for folks who may be listening and may not be gun owners, may not be concealed carry holders, but live in Michigan, what is the process of becoming a concealed carry holder in the state? What do you got to do?
Oh, it's fairly simple, man. We're a shall-issue state. You meet the requirements. They must give you the license. U.S. resident alien, 21 years of age, be able to pass a background check, which usually is like no felonies or serious misdemeanors. Take a qualified training class, such as the one that I offer. Submit your application, pay the fee, have a picture taken, run your prints, and as soon as you're cleared, as soon as your background passes, you are automatically issued the license.
All right. So there you go. Just that easy.
It's fairly easy. I mean, there are other states where things are a little easier.
Right.
But I think it's a good process. And we're getting a lot of people who are carrying outside of the home, and I believe it's making our greater society here, our community, safer.
Yeah, I think that, well, listen, I think you're right, Rick. Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on the program, sir. And you know what? I feel confident we'll be talking to you again before long.
You know what? On the good side, yeah, I feel we'll be talking, but that means that some citizen out there protected himself, his family, and his home. And you know what? I love to see that.